Hi, welcome to this month's Essential Oil Live. I'm Laura. I'm the event coordinator here at Serenity Sol. I want to real quick tell you about a couple fun events we have coming up. On Tuesday the 15th, we have our twice a month Tarot share. Then on Thursday the 17th, we have our Reiki share. Both of these events are free. On Saturday the 19th, we have the Spring and Soul Festival. This is running alongside the Peep Show run by the Carroll Arts Foundation. That's happening here at the Town Mall of Westminster. They're gonna have a bunch of marshmallow displays up, and we will have vendors as well as some wellness practitioners here for you to check out, some really cute goods to purchase. And then on Tuesday the 22nd, we have our crystals class. And on Wednesday the 30th, we're going to run another candle making class, which has been very popular. That is the one class that we're running currently that has a cost. The cost for that class is $25, and you get to go home with your own handmade candle. This month, we're going to be focused on cactus candles, so it should be very fun. And you get to design your own candle that way. So welcome to our essential oils class. Last month we covered how to create a natural first aid kit. So I went over a lot of the different ailments that we might like to address in the kit, and I showed some examples of a first aid kit that you can make yourself. A kit like this is going to include products that are going to support and help your body in healing, but is not reliant on pharmaceuticals or drugs to accomplish that. Some of the things that we included in the kit are fairly basic, such as gloves, bandages, and sterile wipes, but we also have little organic cotton pads. We have things like tape, as well as some tinctures in this kit. We have some things that can be supportive, such as cold calm. These are a homeopathic remedy. We have gloves, an emergency blanket, and some trauma pads. So that stuff is fairly common in a kit. And then we talked about a lot of the additions that you can have. So part of that was the top 6 oils that I recommend for a natural first aid kit. They are chamomile, lavender, lemon, peppermint, eucalyptus, and tea tree. So I will real quickly go over those again. If you're interested in more details, you can scroll back to last month's live where I go into a lot of the details for these oils. But today I'm actually going to show you some products that you can create for your first aid kit that utilizes these oils. So we'll talk a little bit more about the combinations and how they can be helpful. So first off, we had chamomile. Chamomile is well known for its sedative properties. It is good for treating wounds and cuts. It calms skin irritation and can help with pain relief. So this is a great one for a first aid kit. It also supports sleep and digestion. Tea tree oil is very well known. This is probably the most used oil that I've had in the last 20 some years. It is incredibly disinfectant, antiseptic, antibacterial. So this one is going to treat just about anything that you come in contact with. If you use it in your mouth, it actually has a numbing effect as well as the antimicrobial and antibacterial properties. So there was a situation where somebody was having extreme pain from a root canal and wasn't able to get to the doctor quickly. So I gave them tea tree oil to soak on that area of their mouth, and it completely numbed the area and allowed her to go 3 days before she could get into the actual dentist. So tea tree oil is super supportive. It also treats fungal infections, so it can be good for even creating a spray to treat things like your shoes and deodorize your shoes. Peppermint oil helps with travel sickness and nausea. It can support and ease tension and fatigue. It helps with focus. It is well known for calming digestive issues. It is cooling and has been shown to help with muscle pain and aches. It is very soothing and can help with headaches as well as treat sunburn and bug bites. Lemon oil is very popular. It has a nice, refreshing, crisp scent. It is well known for its mood uplifting properties, but it is also a powerful antiseptic and disinfectant. It can reduce cold symptoms and also sterilizes cuts and scrapes as well. Then, of course, we have lavender. We've done a whole month class on lavender, but it is incredibly supportive. It's very well known for its calming and sedative properties. It's very supportive for sleep. It can treat wasp stings and bites, as well as minor burns and fungal growth. It's also a disinfectant and an antihistamine, and also supports headaches. So these are all great oils for your kit. You can't go wrong. There's of course many more that you can add, but these are some of the best to include. Eucalyptus is our last one. Eucalyptus is well known for treating colds, coughs, and flu, but it also can treat muscle ache, congestion. It is very supportive to the respiratory system and has been known to not only be a decongestant, but an expectorant. So it's gonna help you get any phlegm that's in your lungs out. It's gonna help you breathe better, clear congestion. It's also antiviral, antibacterial. So again, very supportive for your kit. Okay, so now that we've covered those oils, we're going to talk about some of the things that we can do with these oils. So one of the first things we're going to work with today is making sprays. Sprays are supportive in a couple different ways, right? We can create a disinfectant spray for our hands and surfaces. We can create a spray for our body that is going to put the aroma, that's going to have the aromatherapy benefits. So all of these oils, when inhaled, have an effect on the body. When we put them in a spray and put that spray on ourselves, it allows us to receive those benefits. You can do a single oil for any of these recipes, or you can do a combination. For the sprays, oh, you know what? I don't have water here. Well, I will do a demonstration of the spray. I don't have a bottle of water, so I can't fill it up, but I will do it once I hop off the live here. We use witch hazel with our body sprays. This helps to preserve them and incorporate the oils into the spray. The first spray we're gonna make today is a lemon, mint, and eucalyptus. Okay, so this spray is going to be cleansing. It's going to help with focus and refresh you if you are feeling lethargic or sleepy. It's going to soothe tension in the body, and it's very supportive for headaches. It also is a good seasonal support. So if you suffer from things like allergies or congestion, from spring irritants, it can be very helpful for that as well. So this is a good one to add to your kit. This is going to have more of a stimulant quality to it, and also cooling because of the eucalyptus and peppermint. So we're going to add 10 drops of the eucalyptus. We're going to add 15 drops of the lemon, so that's going to give it a nice strong lemon scent. I already mentioned the lemon is very good for its mood uplifting properties, so this is also going to be supportive if you suffer from depression, anxiety, and tension and stress. After that, we're going to add 5 drops of peppermint. Sometimes it can be a little harder to get the oil out, but you can tap it. You can add up to 10 drops of the peppermint. I'm not a big fan of mint, but I appreciate its ability to help with things like easing indigestion, and cooling the body down. This is actually a great spray in the summertime, especially because you can spray it when you're feeling overheated or angry, and it's going to actually help you to rebalance and cool down. So once you have added your oils, you give it a little mix, and then you would add your water. Once you've added your water, it's ready to go, and a spray like that will last 6 months to a year or more in the bottle, although you'll probably go through it faster than that. The other spray that we are going to make is a combination of lavender and chamomile. So while the last spray was good for things like allergies and focus, this spray is going to be sedative and calming to the body. Both of these oils have been studied in scientific studies and have been found to have strong sedative effects, which is why they are so good for sleep. So we're going to add 20 drops of lavender to our witch hazel. Again, filling the bottle up about a third or so. And then we're going to add 10 to 15 drops of chamomile. And same thing, you'll give this a little swirl, add your water, and it's ready to go. The lavender and chamomile combination is very good for relaxation. It supports deep sleep, reduces anxiety, stress, and has been shown in studies to relieve depression. So again, this is a very supportive spray to keep on hand. You can keep it in your car and in your first aid kit. The next product that we're going to create for our kit is using a roller ball. These little devices are very handy. All of these products can be purchased online, places like Amazon, sometimes Walmart, or even the dollar store. You can find containers. So this is the container that we're going to use for our salve. This is the roller ball container. And these are the spray bottles. So all of these can be found at a variety of stores, and especially online. The roller ball is made out of glass, and it has a little top with a little rolly ball. That's how you apply it. So you need to use your fingernails, or sometimes you can even purchase a tool to help remove the top of these bottles. Once you pop it off, you're going to put almost an entire, you're gonna fill it almost entirely with a carrier oil. We've talked about carrier oils in the past. Because the essential oils are so strong and concentrated, they need to be diluted before you apply them to your skin. Carrier oil can be just about anything that is an oil. So you could even use something like tallow or butter, which most people have on hand, as well as olive oil. Other oils that you can use are almond oil or coconut oil. This is a special version called fractionated coconut oil, which means it's been processed further to stay liquid at room temperature. There's so many oils that you can use. It's really just up to your preference. Almond oil is another good one that's really balancing to the skin. So you're going to fill your bottle all the way up with your oil. At this stage, you can also add lavender buds or even little crystals if you would like. And then we're going to add our oils. So I have a couple different recipes here. I only have one bottle with me, so I'm only going to make one of them, but I will go ahead and let you know a couple of the other ones. Any of the oils that I've talked about work great as a singular oil, which means you could buy a package of 6 of these roller balls and make one with each individual oil, which is gonna allow you to really utilize them for anything that you need them for. The ones I'm gonna talk about are mostly blends, but things like the lavender and the lemon are gonna be really wonderful on their own. Tea tree oil would also be really supportive on its own because it's gonna be able to treat any infection, any inflammation, anything that you have on your body. It's really easy to apply. So let's see. I think the one that I'm gonna make is the Boo Boo Bug Bite roller ball. So this would be the one, if you're only making one, this would be the one to make because this is going to help disinfect any scrapes or wounds that you might have, as well as treat bug bites and the itchiness and irritation associated with them. So once you've filled your container with the carrier oil, we're gonna add 8 drops of lavender. Okay, 8 drops of lavender. Five drops of tea tree oil. This is, again, the strong antiseptic and disinfectant and antibacterial qualities. If you have something like the Thieves Oil blend that we've made in past months, that's also a great one to add to this. And then for its soothing properties and for things like skin irritation, we're also gonna add chamomile to this blend. So we're going to add 5 drops of the chamomile. You're always welcome to adjust these blends. If you don't have all the oils, it's to find a substitute. If you're not a fan of lavender, you could use something like geranium, which also has a pleasant scent, or even something like lemongrass, which is not gonna be floral. You'll give it a shake. Sometimes the roller ball containers will even come with a little metal ball inside that helps with the helps it to incorporate. But you want to make sure you give it a nice shake so that your oils get well mixed. And then you have it. You can also label these so that you can remember what you've created. And then if you were to have a cut on your hand, you simply open it up and roll it back and forth right over the affected area. If you're concerned about contamination, you could also put it on your finger and then use that to apply it. If you suffer from acne or any other skin blemishes, this is also a good one for that. Other blends that you could make in your rollerball bottles are a blend for headaches. You would add 7 drops of peppermint and 8 drops of eucalyptus to help ease the pain from a headache. You can do a blend with just lavender that is going to be very supportive and calming. So that would be 18 drops of simply lavender. If you want to use another singular oil, that's also a good ratio for that. The next one I have is seasonal support. That's going to be a combination of 8 drops of lavender, 7 drops of lemon, and 3 drops of peppermint. Okay, so that's what I have for the roller balls. The last thing that we're gonna make is either what is called a salve or a balm. There is a difference between the two. Balms typically are firmer and they have more wax in them. Salves tend to be softer and a little bit easier to apply. So here we have a well-used salve of mine, and this comes out of the container very easily. It's very soft. This sort would be more of a balm. This is great for things like lipstick tubes because it's a lot firmer. This requires a little more effort to get it out of the container. And this is simply another one. So all of these are examples of containers that you can use for your balm or salve. The only difference between the two is the amount of wax you use. There's a couple different kinds of wax. I prefer beeswax for this sort of thing because beeswax, it stays firmer and it melts at a higher temperature. So especially if you are keeping your kit in a car or taking it camping or traveling where it might be exposed to heat, you wanna make sure you're using a hard oil so that you don't wind up with a melted mess in your first aid kit. What I have here is soy wax. Soy wax is another good wax. This is a little bit softer, but for the purpose of this, I'm using the soy wax because I'm hoping that I can get it to melt. I have here a heat gun. That's what I'm going to be using to remelt this wax. But at home, you can use a double broiler method. You simply take a pot and put it on the stove, and then put a smaller metal pot inside or sitting on top of it. That creates a container above the water, so the steam is what melts the wax. You can also melt wax in a microwave. You just want to do it very slowly. So you would put it in a microwave safe dish and pop it in for maybe 10 or 15-second intervals, stirring in between each one. As soon as it's melted, you want to pull it out because the microwave could mess it up if you keep it in there for too long. I prefer the double broiler method. You can also purchase electric pots on Amazon that melt wax as well. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. But because I'm mobile today, I'm going to be using this heat gun. So bear with me for just a second. This is the container that I'm going to be pouring our balm into. You can use a variety of small containers. These actually came from the dollar store. I think they were 4 for $1, so they're very inexpensive. You could even make a whole batch of these and give them out to your friends. They will last you a very long time, and they are a nice alternative to things like Neosporin and alcohol wipes, which you know, the Neosporin is an what is it? What is Neosporin? It's yes, but is it antibiotic cream? The Neosporin, I think that's what it is. So it's an antibiotic. So anytime we are working with an antibiotic, we run the risk of the bacteria becoming resistant to it. So that's a really good reason why, you know, if you have a child that gets a lot of ear infections, garlic can be super helpful. And I treated all 3 of my kids' ear infections for years with garlic. We never once had to take an antibiotic, which was very wonderful because there is, a lot more bacteria that's becoming resistant. So I really feel like using things like these salves instead of Neosporin can be really helpful overall to preventing that, while acknowledging that there are certain times where those things are very helpful, and I'm grateful that we have them available as well. So you can see here that my wax is melting. It's almost completely melted. Once this wax is melted, I'm going to incorporate a little bit of almond oil. You can use any liquid oil in this recipe, so coconut oil, the almond oil, olive oil is a good one. Here I even have a little shea butter, so that would be another thing that you can incorporate. Shea butter is a softer material, which means that it's going to make your finished product a little softer. So at this point, my wax is melted. I will have a little bit of time to work here, but you want to remember that the wax does cool down quickly, and you want to get everything mixed into it and get it poured before the wax solidifies. So for this Boo Boo Balm, we are going to use the same combination of oils that we used in our roller ball. So we will be adding 8 drops of lavender, 5 drops of tea tree oil, and I think because I really want to make sure that this is a strong salve, I'm actually going to add 10 drops of the tea tree oil. And then we have our chamomile for its soothing properties. So we're gonna add 5 drops of the chamomile. For the purpose of this, I'm just gonna give this a little squeeze of the almond oil. If you were making this at home, you could use more specific ratios. I believe the ratio is 4 or 5 to 1. So you want to have 4 or 5 parts wax to 1 part oil, liquid oil. So now I am stirring to incorporate the almond oil and the essential oils that I've added. You can even give it a smell at this point, and I'm realizing that it doesn't smell as strongly of lavender as I would like. I have 3 kids, and so, you know, getting them to treat things like wounds is not always the easiest, and I think that having a nice smelling salve is gonna help me. So I'm actually gonna add 10 more drops of lavender. The final recipe I have here is 18 drops of lavender, 10 drops of tea tree oil, and 5 drops of chamomile. I probably added about a tablespoon of soy wax or beeswax, and probably a teaspoon or less of the almond oil. So at this point, my wax is starting to get a little bit harder. I apologize, I can't tilt it more. But if you guys want to take a look, you can see that it's mostly melted in there. There's a tiny little bit of wax, but it's mostly melted. So now I'm going to take it. I'm going to take my little container and simply pour it right in. Okay. I'm going to let this sit for probably 10 or 15 minutes. That's really all it needs to cool down. If you're in a hurry, you could also pop it in the fridge for 5 or 10 minutes, and that's gonna solidify it real quickly. As soon as it's solidified, it's pretty much ready to go. I would recommend buying some little labels or stickers. Again, the dollar store is a great place for those things. That's gonna allow you to jot down both what's in your recipes or in your containers, and it's going to allow you to put a little date on there too. If you're concerned about, you know, products that are going to be sitting around for a long time, it can be helpful to date them. That way, if a year or 2 goes by and you still have a little left, you might want to dump it out and refresh it. Okay, so I didn't add a ton of wax into my container, but you can see that it's already starting to solidify in there. And I think that that is pretty much all I have for you today. I really hope that you enjoyed this live of our essential oil class, and that it is inspiring you to go out and create a natural first aid kit of your own. It's wonderful to have essential oils on hand because they are so supportive for just about any ailment or condition that you might be experiencing. So I hope you will get out there and create your own kit. Namaste.